Hello, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts. I just finished watching Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. Now, there are a few things that we can learn from this movie. There are also a few questions that I have now that I've watched it that refer directly to how we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. That is the next installment in this series, and we shall be knocking it out, hopefully. We'll be playing it or being played by it in the next week, so if you're ready for it, we're gonna go ahead and give our 358 over 2 days review as well as the prediction for Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Here we go. So sort of as a segue from where we started last time, Kingdom Hearts 2, I give myself a 3 or 4 out of 10. I'm predicting that. I mean, if there's anything that's like, yeah, we knew Diz was gonna be part of this story. We also figured that Kairi had more action in this film, and Axel, he did his thing. We see that play out not only in Kingdom Hearts 2, but also in 358 in 2 days. So, we couldn't determine how far Axel would have gone. As far as he did, we love you, Axel. You're in our hearts. But I did predict correctly that he would go to Destiny Island, and he would try to get Kairi. Pluto had something to say about that, but eventually he found his way, and he saved his butt for the time being, but ended up giving it up so that Sora could continue his fight. We love you, Axel. But don't worry about Axel, we'll get back to him later. Now, let's go ahead and talk about 358 over 2 days. What are some of the things we can learn? How can we apply them to how we're going to see Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep play out? I guess the thing that makes you wonder the most about 358 over 2 days is, who is Xion? Why is she able to connect so deeply with Roxas? I mean, I guess we could sort of base that on the fact that she is based off of Sora's memories of Kairi. But at the same time, we know that she was a puppet created by Organization 13. How can she have these feelings? I think that it's relevant that Roxas and Xion are able to have these feelings. We see them express emotion throughout the series. To be fair, Roxas records in his journal that he doesn't care about anything. I find that hard to believe with how much he treasures his relationship with Axel and Xion. We also see Xion's reaction to how Riku treats her, and screaming out, "I am not a fraud, I'm not a sham." She yells that. She has passion behind that. If you're gonna say they don't have hearts, who are you to make the call? What I'm saying is, they have emotions, so it's hard to deny the fact that they can connect with people on a higher level than someone who doesn't really have a heart. In the very least, they have this idea of wanting to be their own person. And yes, that does require a heart. But I do believe they have more qualities of a heartful person than the rest of the nobodies who they hang out with. Another thing I wrote down in my notes was, does having that connection with other people who I would say have a heart, would that give other people a closer connection to their own feelings, or actually the ability to have feelings of their own? I think we see a little bit of this in Axel, especially after he goes to Castle Oblivion and comes back having put so much on the line and seen Sora at work. If you want a little more backstory on this idea, the fact that Sora remained in a Heartless form for so short of a time between when he was a Heartless and when Kairi restored him with her heart, that sort of affected how Roxas was able to exist. Additionally, Ansem's journal theorizes that because of this connection between Sora's heart and Kairi's heart being released at the same time when Sora pierced himself with the Keyblade, that's what produced Naminé. So how does Xion come out of who Kairi is? It's the relationship between Sora and Kairi. Now, Naminé says she's having problems with getting Sora back into the real world because there's this issue. Xion and Roxas seem to be fighting so hard to be on their own, to have their own existence, that the memories that create Xion are prohibiting Sora's memories from being fully complete. Does that play around with how the relationship between Xion and Roxas will work because of Sora's relationship with Kairi? Another problem we have with Roxas is that when he went to Castle Oblivion, he fainted, he fell out, he couldn't remember anything after he passed through the doors. He woke up after being asleep for a little while. What's wrong with you, Roxas? What the heck's going on with you? Now we could go with the obvious way and say, of course, well, it's because Shion's taking all his strength. He's a little sickly because she's sapping him of everything that he can move around with. But no. It seems that Roxas is able to do well enough outside of anywhere except for Castle Oblivion. But he goes into Castle Oblivion and all of a sudden it's like he's on the ground and says, "What you fell over for?" No, actually, if you remember how Castle Oblivion works, it works off of your memories, and it constructs itself, it builds itself off the memories that you have in Roxas. There are none. Sorry, my man. The thing is, if Sora had been a Heartless for much longer, he would actually have had Sora's memories. But Sora was a Heartless for a solid 3 minutes. Let's put it, that's the highest it could have gone. That's also the explanation for how Kairi's nobody, Naminé, is able to work so intricately with Sora's memories. It's because Kairi's heart was inside Sora the whole entire time. That still begs the question. Who is Xion? Why is she here? Why is she so different than everyone else? Why does she eventually come to this awareness of she wants to give herself up so that Sora can do his own thing? The thing is, Xion recognized that she was an intricate part of Sora's reality, and without her memories, she would not be able to continue to exist, but Sora would be able to get his life back. So what's the thing that brings all this stuff together? Well, Roxas in his journal, he writes down Organization 13, all these members, they seem to be so powerful they can remember their past. What makes Xion and me so much weaker? But I think the question that must arise is not why they're weaker, but why they're stronger. This is because their others were so quickly able to get back from being heartless that Xion and Roxas are now their own beings, and they're searching for a way to figure out who they are and make their own destiny. Xion and Roxas, so they come to terms with the idea that, no, I could be myself, but I am preventing Sora from continuing his journey. I am a literal stumbling block in his path. So we eventually see them make this sacrifice so that Sora can continue in his journey. It's this sacrifice, however, that sort of prompts you to realize, wait a second, Xion and Roxas did something out of the belief in something that they couldn't have feelings for, right? In the end, when it comes down to it, they lay down their lives so that Sora can continue his journey, continue his destiny. I think that's a critical part to becoming their own selves. It's not about me. That's what they're deciding. It's not about me. And casting away the idea of doing everything for themselves, they're able to shun everything that is keeping them from being their own persons. Up until this point, we've been speculating about how Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days can lead into Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Now I think it's time to have a little more solid evidence directly from Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days and Kingdom Hearts 2. So if we're gonna analyze Birth by Sleep, what do we need to know? Well, we need to know what birth means, we need to know what by means, and we need to know what sleep means. What a mystery. Well, we know that someone's being born. Who can be born? Is it gonna be like a nobody? Is it gonna be a somebody? Is it gonna be an other? Is it gonna be a heartless? I think the word we need to analyze more is sleep, and it's not as far as like knowing what it means. I think it's more of like seeing how it's been used in the past with Kingdom Hearts games. Namely those big vats that they put Sora and Donald and Goofy in after Naminé was trying to fix their memories. I mean, does anybody else remember Day 6 when Roxas is going through Castle Oblivion? Oh yeah, Roxas is going through Castle Oblivion, what do you know? Well, it may not be Castle Oblivion. I mean, he went through a portal and everything, but yeah. What does he discover? Well, I mean, he stumbles into the Chamber of Waking. And what does waking have to do with anything we're talking about right now? I wonder. It has everything to do with sleeping. Remember how we walked in and there were 2 vats and one with Donald and one with Goofy, and then there were 3 empty ones and the other room had the big vat with Sora in it? Well, what are those 3 empty vats doing right there? Are they just trying to fill up empty space? Or are they trying to tell us something? Are the 3 people that we need to know about that are going to be waking up? I must tell you, there really ain't no sleep like that which you can get inside a flower vessel. Yeah, the Chamber of Waking is something that was mentioned occasionally, but very, very sparingly in the past few games. It's like they don't want us to be focusing on that aspect of things, but want to be able to point back and say, hey, look, you missed something very important, and we're like, oh man, we should have figured this out. Well, here we are. We remember the Chamber of Waking. We know that it has this sort of powerful vibe around it, but we really don't know what exactly its extent of power is. But we also know that it has a sort of contract room. A dark twin brother, if you will. The Room of Repose. And these rooms have been known to have a weird power that can wake people up and put them to sleep. Well, I mean, wouldn't a bedroom do just as well? Oh, I've been tossing and turning all night. I remember the good old days when Mom used to tuck me in the flower vessels. Wow, that's an egregious case of bedhead. On the same topic, I mean, sleeping in a flower vessel really would keep your hair well done. I can see the market campaign going on right now. Get your very own flower vessel today for only $2.99 a month. $2.99 a month. That's a fabulous deal. Just pay shipping and handling. Not only will you be sleeping like a dream, but you'll be looking like you're in full bloom year-round. Where was I going? I forgot where I was going before my tangent.
Well, give me another second while you think so I can take these off, I guess.
Roommates.
Yeah, they're stupid.
I am. Well, let's assume that they're going to be using the Chamber of Waking. Who's going to be the subject of the waking? Who's going to be the sleeping one? Or ones, because there's 3 options. Now think about it, I've only been mentioning the flower vessels in the Chamber of Waking. In fact, we should be thinking about flower vessels in the Chamber of Repose. Or is this the Chamber of Waking where they put Sora and Donald and Goofy? To be fair, I think you need both the Chamber of Repose and a Chamber of Waking in order to have someone who is asleep and someone who is awake. Because by definition, repose means a state of rest, sleep, or tranquility. I know it's a long shot, but looking at the screen for Birth by Sleep, we see 3 people and a mouse. We know King Mickey. He's alive and well. He's not asleep. Unless something changes. I don't know. I don't see enough evidence to support that assumption. One of them is obviously Roxas, and he seems to be asleep. So, I mean, that could play into what's going on. But we also see a girl that looks like Xion and another guy. And if you thought that I had forgotten completely about Axel up until this point, whoa. Lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, it's obviously Axel. I mean, look at that well-defined jawline and the intense stare out into the distance. It could be anybody. We're gonna say it's Axel. I also like the dark pseudo-Organization 13 sort of attire he's wearing right now. It sort of goes up and you see his hair falls back and it's a little bit long, and imagine it red. That's the spitting image of Axel. And if you know Axel, he's probably spouting off at someone, so spitting is the proper form of said being. And if we know anything, we know that Axel and Xion are both dead. Moment of silence for Xion and Axel, our fallen comrades at arms. Wait, did someone say comrade? We could say, since there's 3 unused flower vessels in the Chamber of Waking, that they could all be in one of those? But arguably Roxas is the only one asleep, and since the other 2, we could presume, are dead, maybe they're working in accordance with their own past to advance this storyline and help Roxas become himself. In other words, it's a key part of Roxas' story of becoming himself that Xion and Axel's histories are revealed. If we explore Xion's past a little deeper, we may find a little bit more about her, but Axel's a complete mystery. He's not one of Ansem's original 6 apprentices. He just came up and he joined Organization 13. We don't know anything about his past. One thing we learned from Xion is that she and Axel and Roxas are best friends. That is the truth. She says that very explicitly, and I feel like that's the writer's trying to tell us something. That is truth right there. And if we go back to Roxas' journal, he says one very important thing toward the very end. He says this: I know the 3 of us will eat ice cream together another time. We know that they will get back together. They will have ice cream together again, because We all need that sweet ending after a salty time, right? Well, honestly, if Birth by Sleep does make me pretty angry and it resolved with a nice piece of cake or maybe just some icing on the cake, I wouldn't be too mad.
The cake is a lie.
I don't know how this will come apart. Is that something that's going to be covered in Birth by Sleep? I don't know. But now we know Roxas' backstory. Now we know more about Shion's backstory. And then there's Axel. Come on, Axel, why you gotta be so mysterious? Well, to be fair, he is an Organization 13 member, and the only two that we know about are the ones that don't know anything about themselves. Well, I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out what exactly is going on with Axel. I know that he sacrificed himself for Sora, but I do feel like his story is not completely over. I don't want to cast him by the wayside. I feel like there's more that we need to explore between Roxas and Shion and Axel. But the main connection we can pull between Roxas and Shion and Axel are that they're both interplaying with his life. And if you look at the title screen again, one more, zip, it's there. You notice he's in the middle, he's sleeping, Birth by Sleep. What is Roxas doing? The way that this is going to be interconnected is Roxas is going to experience a birth into an actual somebody. He will no longer be a nobody. I mean, to be fair, it's something that he's always desired, as from what we've seen in Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. As it stands right now, he's attached to Sora's being as his nobody, but I don't see any reason that Castle Oblivion couldn't do anything to help him out. Well, it seems that the whole purpose of Castle Oblivion is to replicate lost memories, or maybe just make new ones and replace them in someone's brain and effectively become very controlling of their system and overrun their body with complete control and say, you are mine and you don't get to control yourself anymore? Somehow I find that hard to believe. No, I don't think we're waking up Roxas so we control him. But if someone's being born, if someone is asleep, it's gotta be Roxas. I mean, he's right in the middle of the screen, but how is that going to come about? Well, I feel like because Roxas is so well integrated with Shion and Axel that if they work together, they can make a memory strong enough to produce a replica of Roxas to the extent that Roxas is actually able to be present in that body. Quick additional side note, if we're getting Roxas back, I think it's safe to assume that we can also get Naminé back. In order for those qualifications to be met, we might have to meet some new characters. I don't feel like Naminé herself has a deeper connection with anybody. I feel like Naminé doesn't have those connections that Roxas had. We sort of see her as a lone wolf, and yeah, she does hang out with Diz, but she really doesn't have anybody that she has a deep, close, intimate relationship just like Roxas has. And I think the essential components of Roxas being born by sleep is going to be the fact that he has those close friends. One last thing you can see when looking at the title screen is that there are 3 Keyblades, but for the person who we've been playing the most as Sora, you'd think that Roxas as nobody would have a Keyblade, but Roxas is completely devoid of any weapon. He's probably just thinking about how to put the rest of his enemies to sleep. Maybe he'll build a solo sales team for our flower vessel. Before we know it, he's going to be selling retail from the USA all the way to Japan. I'm already proud of you, Roxas. But I think it's safe to assume that we're going to see a lot more action, especially with this not Kairi girl, who I'm going to just call Shion for the purpose of convenience right now. And this not Axel dude, who we're just gonna call not Axel for the convenience of time right here. I think the bottom line is, at the beginning of the story, Roxas won't exist formally, but by the end of it, he will be his own being just like he desired in 358 over 2 days. That's pretty much the gist of the prediction, but the wild curveball we're going to hit all the way out to far left field is this. Here's the pattern. Chain of memories. Sora faces Rikuplica. Fake Riku. 358 over 2 days. Roxas faces Riku. The not Sora faces the real Riku. Kingdom Hearts 2. Sora faces himself in Roxas. It may not be as important to say that Xion faces Axel and Roxas faces Xion, but the point is that they all face an alternate identity of their own friend. So what's going to happen next? Well, my curveball is that Kairi is going to be facing the Axel that we see pictured right here in this title screen, or basically any sort of conflict between this conglomeration of units. Hey, Kairi, get out of here. I mean, it's not Axel, but it is Axel. So that's the curveball we're going to be hitting all the way out to left field. We'll figure out where it goes, but until then, please no spoilers for Birth by Sleep. I can't wait to actually figure out what is going on in this game. But other than that, I got a place to do and things to be. So peace and blessings. Y'all have a good one.